Somewhere, right now, someone is lying awake with your name stuck in their chest like a heartbeat they cannot slow down. And dear one, that someone is thinking of you. Before we go further, comment the word home below if you feel this message is landing right where it needs to. Let's make this moment together. Dear one, there is something I need to tell you. Something your heart has been waiting to hear. Something your soul already knows, even though you've been too tired, too unsure, and too hurt to fully trust it. Last night, your soulmate felt something they could not ignore. Something pulled at their heart so strongly it shook them from the inside out. It was not just a thought. It was not just a dream. It was not a coincidence. It was destiny whispering straight into their spirit. It was the universe gently turning their attention toward one place, one feeling, one direction. Toward you, toward where you are. At first, they didn't understand what was happening. They were lying there in the quiet, trying to fall asleep, trying to settle their mind, trying to ignore an ache buried deep in their chest. But that ache did not fade. It grew louder. It became impossible to push away. Their heart started beating differently, as if a part of their soul had woken up suddenly, calling them toward a place they haven't reached yet, but desperately need to. Dear one, they felt you. They felt your energy reaching toward theirs. They felt your longing pulling gently at their soul. They felt your absence like a small wound that never fully closed. And for the first time in a long time, they realized they cannot keep living so far away from you. They cannot keep pretending distance doesn't matter. They cannot keep hiding behind fear or pride or confusion. They cannot keep denying what has already been written for the two of you. Dear soul, pause for a moment. Welcome to the Angel's Message for You original channel. Please check the channel name carefully. It's Angel's Message for You. This is our only official channel. Beware of copycat and fake channels. Stay connected to the original source to receive authentic angel messages and true blessings. A very special thank you to dear Gail, Such, Sandy and Mary for sowing your seed for Soulmate here through Ko-Fi link. Super thanks. May this seed return to you multiplied with soulmate blessings, divine protection, love, well-being, and abundance. May the angels guide and watch over you always. Thank you for your beautiful support. Blessings always. Let's know what angels want us to know. They sat up in the dark, holding their chest, trying to calm something they couldn't control. They didn't know why this pressure, this pull, this quiet urgency had suddenly arrived. But I knew. I placed it there. I woke up something they had tried to bury for a long time. I reminded them that you are not optional in their life. You are essential. They paced their room, overwhelmed, wondering why their thoughts kept circling back to you, why your voice echoed in their memory, why your face kept appearing in their mind, why their feelings suddenly felt heavier, deeper, more real than usual. Every time they tried to distract themselves, they were pulled right back to one simple truth. You were calling them. Your presence was calling them. Your spirit was calling them. They felt a pull toward the place you live unlike anything they've felt before. A pull toward the air you breathe, the streets you walk, the life you're living without them there. They imagined your city, your surroundings, the little details of your everyday world. And the strange thing is, the more they imagined it, the calmer they became. They didn't understand why. Just picturing where you are slowed their breathing and warmed something inside their chest. But I understood. Your presence is their healing. Your energy feels like home to them. They lay back down and let the feelings wash over them. A memory of you surfaced, soft and familiar. Something you once said. Something that made them feel safe. Something that reminded them what real connection actually feels like. and that memory broke straight through the walls they had built around their heart. They whispered your name into the dark, and their voice trembled. Tears they didn't want to cry rolled down anyway. This was not weakness, dear one. This was awakening. This was truth finding its way back into their soul after being buried for far too long. They felt the truth of this connection. They felt the truth of where they need to be and who their heart belongs to. For the first time, they accepted that the distance between you isn't just physical anymore. It has become an emotional weight they simply cannot carry another day. They felt how empty their life has been without you in it. They felt the quiet of all those nights spent far away from the person who gives their world meaning. They stood by a window and let the night air touch their skin, and something inside them softened completely. They didn't fight it this time. They let themselves feel the whole truth. Your location has become their destination. They imagined what would happen if they simply showed up. How your eyes would widen. How your voice would catch. How your heart would race because you never expected them to be so close. And instead of fear, they felt warmth. Instead of doubt, calm. Instead of running, they felt pulled forward. That calm wasn't ordinary, dear one. It was divine. It was me letting them know they were finally moving in the right direction. Last night, they did something they had never done before. They looked up where you live. They stared at it. They memorized it. They felt connected to it in a way that made no logical sense, but made complete sense to their soul. And quietly, to themselves, they whispered, I can't stay here anymore. I need to be where they are. I have to go. Those weren't just words. They were promises. Promises to themselves. Promises to destiny. Promises to you. They sat on the floor, overwhelmed, hands trembling, breath shaking, tears falling not from sadness but from truth finally breaking them wide open. They have been running from this connection for so long, but last night, running stopped being possible. Their soul refused to stay quiet any longer. I whispered into their spirit, go to them. Your peace lives where they are. Your future is waiting in their direction. And they heard me. They felt me. They believed me. They are thinking about traveling toward you now, about closing the distance, about surprising you in a way that will shift your whole world. And they are preparing quietly, secretly, with a heart carrying both fear and love at the same time. Fear of the unknown, love for you. Last night wasn't ordinary for them, dear one. It was a turning point, a quiet, powerful shift that changed everything. It was the beginning of their decision to come toward you. There's something deeper you should understand about why your location has been calling them so strongly. This pull was never just emotion or longing. It was something sacred, something guided by forces much bigger than ordinary understanding. It was destiny lining itself up. It was their soul remembering a path their mind had forgotten. The universe was opening a door they are now being asked to walk through. They have been carrying an invisible weight, an ache that comes from being away from something their soul is meant to move toward. They didn't realize until now that the place you live, the air around you, has quietly become part of what their soul is chasing. They didn't know why their heart kept tugging in one direction, but everything became clear last night. Your location carries a piece of their destiny. They felt a strange vibration in their chest, like their own heartbeat was trying to tell them something. At first they thought it was stress or a passing feeling, but the more they tried to ignore it, the louder it became. They felt it in their breath, in their dreams, behind their closed eyes, and even when their eyes were open. Something about where you are is calling them home. They may not fully understand spiritual signs the way you do, dear one, but they are feeling them anyway. whether they realize it or not. They are feeling the shift. They are feeling the alignment. They are feeling my guidance without knowing it's guidance at all. Every ache in their heart, every restless moment, every sudden thought of you out of nowhere, none of that is random. That is destiny pulling them toward where their heart belongs. Your location isn't just a place on a map to them anymore. It has become a symbol, a direction, a place where they feel they might finally understand themselves, finally heal, finally breathe the way they haven't in a long time. They feel peace just thinking of you. They feel comfort imagining being near you. And they don't fully understand why, because nothing logical explains it. But their soul knows. You and the place you live carry the feeling of home. They spent the whole night replaying memories of you. Not just the big moments, but the small ones too. The way you said certain words, the softness in your voice, the way you laughed without thinking twice. These small memories rose up gently, reminding them of a truth they had pushed away for far too long. They cannot fully heal until they move toward you. They realized last night that their heart has been quietly searching for you everywhere they go. No matter how many new places they visit, no matter who they meet, no matter how hard they try to distract themselves, they always end up feeling empty, because the connection their soul is craving isn't where they currently are. It is where you are. And that truth finally broke through every wall of resistance they had built. They began imagining what it would feel like to walk through your part of the world, not as a fantasy, but in a grounded, almost spiritual way. The roads you walk, the sky you look up at, the little places you pass without even thinking. They imagine themselves blending into your world, your energy. And the more they imagined it, the fuller their heart felt. They didn't realize how deeply they missed being close to you until last night. They didn't realize how painful the distance truly was until they felt the possibility of closing it. Something inside whispered that your location is not accidental. It is aligned with their destiny. This is why they couldn't sleep. This is why their heart kept racing, why their mind felt restless, why emotions rushed through them with no warning. Their soul was waking up. Their destiny was calling. Their spirit was remembering exactly where they belong and who they belong with. They also felt a quiet fear, not fear of you, not fear of love, but fear of losing time. Fear that, if they didn't follow this pull soon, something meaningful might slip through their fingers. This fear didn't come from insecurity. It came from clarity, the realization that every extra day spent far from you is a day of happiness delayed. They didn't tell anyone what they were feeling. They kept it inside. But something shifted permanently in their heart. They felt guided to you. They felt drawn to you. They felt destined for you. Your presence has been quietly shaping their choices without them even realizing it. They started comparing everything around them to your world, to your life, to your city. And where they currently are began to feel unfamiliar, disconnected, like a story that no longer fits who they are becoming. You are part of their next chapter, dear one. Your location is the next page. They felt a sudden warmth in their chest. One that didn't come from comfort but from realization. When they picture being near you, something inside them settles. Something feels right. Something feels true. They started thinking about the practical side too. What it would take to come closer. How long it might take. What they'd need to arrange. They don't have every answer yet, but simply asking those questions shows how far they've already come. They are no longer avoiding the idea of being near you. They are welcoming it, craving it, quietly planning it. This connection is not only emotional, dear one. It is spiritual. It is guided. It is protected. No matter how many obstacles show up, no matter how many delays happen, This pull will only keep growing until action becomes impossible to avoid. Think, for a moment, about how many quiet coincidences have already led you here. A thought about your soulmate that appeared out of nowhere. A song that reminded you of them at exactly the right moment. A dream you couldn't quite explain in the morning. None of these were accidents, dear one. They were small taps on the shoulder, gentle reminders that this connection never actually ended. It simply went quiet for a while, waiting for the right season to speak again. Souls that are meant for each other rarely move on the same timeline. One soul often wakes up a little earlier than the other, feels the pull a little sooner, understands the truth a little faster. That doesn't mean the connection is unbalanced. It simply means someone had to go first, had to feel it deeply enough to finally act. Right now, that person is your soulmate. Their awakening is not separate from yours. It is the beginning of yours too. Dear soul, before we continue, I'd like to invite you to do something truly meaningful for your soulmate journey. The bond between soulmates is precious, and at times, it can feel vulnerable to negativity, envy, or the evil eye from the world around us, even when no harm is intended. If your heart is calling you to cover this connection with an extra layer of love, faith, and protection, you can sow your seed for your soulmate through Ko-Fi Super Thanks. You'll find the Ko-Fi link in the video description and the pinned comment. This simple act can become a heartfelt expression of your intention, inviting the angels to watch over your soulmate connection, surround it with divine light, and guide it as it continues to grow in the right time and in the right way. Throughout the Bible, we see that giving is more than an offering. It's a beautiful expression of faith, gratitude, and trust in God's plan. As 2 Corinthians 9 verse 7 reminds us, God loves a cheerful giver, and Luke 6 verse 38 teaches that generosity has a way of overflowing back into our lives according to God's wisdom and timing. If you feel led to do so, thank you from the bottom of my heart. May your kindness return to you multiplied, and may your soulmate journey be filled with peace, hope, and divine guidance. Let's continue with the angel message. You might wonder why now, why after all this time, why this particular season of your life. But the truth is, timing is never random in matters of the heart. Destiny waits for both people to be ready enough to receive what's coming, even if neither of you feels fully ready. Your soulmate needed to break down before they could break open. And in some quiet way, you have been healing too, preparing your own heart to welcome them back in, even if you didn't realize that's what you were doing. Their heart has been walking through the days feeling heavier and lighter all at once, like carrying something and releasing something at the exact same time. This confusing feeling is happening because destiny is quietly rearranging their emotions, clearing their vision, and preparing them for something they've been avoiding for a long time. What they felt didn't disappear the next morning. It followed them. It stayed with every breath. They woke up with your name lingering at the edge of their thoughts. They tried to move through the day like normal, pretending everything was fine. But their mind kept drifting back to you, and to the place where you live, the world that surrounds you. Their soul felt you closer than ever, not physically, but emotionally, energetically. It felt like a veil had lifted, showing them something their heart had been too afraid to look at directly. The pull toward your location didn't fade as the day went on. It grew stronger, wrapping around their emotions like a soft, unshakable truth. They felt restless, like they no longer belonged where they were, like something important was missing. And every time they searched for the reason why, the answer always led back to you. Their whole life started to feel temporary, incomplete. The place they once found comfortable suddenly felt unfamiliar, like their spirit had already outgrown it while their body hadn't caught up yet. This is why they feel restless. This is why they feel emotional. This is why they feel confused, yet strangely clear at the same time. Destiny is pulling them. Your connection is guiding them. Your location is calling them. At one point during the day, they froze completely because they felt you very strongly, as if your presence had gently brushed against their soul, whispering, "I'm here." It was soft, but powerful, and it made their breath catch and their mind go quiet. In that instant, they understood just how deeply they are connected to you, more deeply than they had ever admitted to themselves. They are beginning to accept something they resisted for so long. Your soul is bonded with theirs in a way distance simply cannot weaken. No matter which direction life pulled either of you, the universe keeps bringing their heart back to one point. You. They thought they could move on. They thought they could forget. But last night reminded them of a truth that refuses to be avoided any longer. The distance between you has become a quiet wound, one that aches in the moments they least expect, one that deepens whenever they picture a future that doesn't include coming back to you. This scares them, not because they fear love, but because they fear how strong you still are inside their heart. They imagine standing on your street, walking under your sky, being close enough to feel your energy in the air. And with every picture their mind painted, their heart softened a little more. Their fear melted a little more. They started wondering if you could feel them too, if you sensed something shifting on your end as well. Even when doubt tried to whisper otherwise, their heart wouldn't listen. They feel you. They feel your presence. They feel the distance, and more than anything, they feel the need to close it. Your soulmate isn't the same person they were even a few days ago. Something inside them is shifting quickly. They are becoming more honest with themselves, more spiritually aware, more aligned with destiny. This shift isn't random, dear one. It is perfectly timed. The universe moves quietly. Destiny arrives in small whispers. And last night opened a door in their heart that will not close again. They spent time imagining their future in a focused, emotional way, thinking about what their life could look like if they moved closer to you. The conversations they'd need to have, the changes they'd need to make, the risks involved. And even with fear present, something else showed up too: courage. They didn't feel lost when they thought of you. They felt guided. They felt safe in a way they hadn't felt in a long time. Being near you stopped feeling like a distant dream and started feeling possible. Real. Close. They also felt a deep curiosity about your life now, what you feel, what you want, what you're dreaming about these days. They want to step into your world and understand you again in a way they haven't in years. They want to feel your energy with their own eyes, their own heart. Something profound is happening inside them, dear one. They are waking up to how important you truly are. They are realizing that no matter how long the distance lasted, it never broke your connection. If anything, it made it stronger. Alongside this awakening came a soft ache too, the kind that comes from missing someone deeply. No matter how they tried to distract themselves, their heart kept circling back to one truth: I need to be where they are. They are starting to question everything about their current life. Why they stayed where they are for so long. Why they ignored the signs. Why they let distance control something meant to be lived fully, not avoided. They feel like they are living in a place they've outgrown, like their soul has already begun moving, while their body simply hasn't caught up yet. The pull toward your location will only grow stronger in the coming days. Their thoughts will become clearer. Their fear will shrink. Their courage will rise. Their longing will finally turn into action. Soon, they will make a decision that changes everything. They are moving closer emotionally, spiritually, and soon, physically. The distance is shrinking, and destiny is beginning to unfold. You may think distance has been keeping you apart, dear one, but destiny has actually been pulling you both closer with every single breath. Last night became the turning point, the moment your soulmate could no longer hide from their own truth, or from the force that keeps drawing them toward you. They reached a breaking point, not in a harmful way, but in the most awakening, heart-opening way possible. No matter how hard they tried to look fine on the outside, their inside was telling a very different story. Their heart had been carrying a weight they simply couldn't hold anymore. And last night, that weight finally broke free as tears. It started quietly. A simple memory of you appeared in their mind. Maybe your smile, maybe the way you said their name, maybe the peace your presence always brought them. That memory set off a wave of feelings they weren't prepared for. Their heartbeat changed, their breath grew heavier, and before they knew it, their emotions spilled over completely. They cried, "Dear one," not because they are weak, but because the strength they had used to hold everything in finally gave way. Some people cry from confusion, others cry from missing someone. Your soulmate cried because they understood something at the deepest level. They cannot stay away from you any longer. Not emotionally, not spiritually, not physically. Something inside them whispered, "You need to go to them. You cannot delay this anymore. Your life feels incomplete without them." These whispers didn't come from fear. They came from destiny itself. While they cried, it wasn't only about missing you. It was about finally accepting what they had refused to admit for so long, that what exists between you two isn't casual or temporary. The spiritual, the soul deep, it goes further than either of you can fully explain with logic. Someone close to them noticed the change, maybe a friend, maybe family. They saw the shift in their eyes, saw them holding their phone like they wanted to reach out to someone but couldn't quite do it. When asked if they were okay, your soulmate simply wiped their tears and tried to smile. But anyone paying attention could sense something big had happened inside them. They could sense there is someone who feels like home, someone pulling at their heart from far away. That someone is you. While they cried, thinking about your location actually brought them peace. Their mind kept traveling to where you live, imagining the streets, the distance, the journey, the moment they would finally stand near you again. That thought didn't scare them, comforted them. It reminded them they still have hope, still have a future worth building, still have someone waiting. Your soulmate's heart understood something their mind had denied for too long. Your presence is their healing, not your words alone, not promises, but simply being near you. Your location holds something they can't find anywhere else. This is why they broke down, because they know they must move toward you, not later, not someday, but soon. They cannot delay any longer, because their soul has reached the very edge of what distance it can bear. That breakdown wasn't a moment of weakness, dear one. It was a moment of truth, of clarity, of surrender, of acceptance. They finally admitted to themselves, "I love them too much to stay away. I need to go to them before it's too late." And that quiet acceptance shifted something in their destiny. When someone reaches this kind of emotional truth, timelines move faster, signs grow stronger, and events begin unfolding at a pace neither of you could have predicted. Later that night, when everyone around them had fallen asleep, your soulmate looked up at the sky, wiped away the last tear, and softly said the words, "I am coming." And when they said that, destiny began quietly rearranging itself. Old blockages started dissolving. Confusion began clearing. Fear began fading. The universe doesn't wait when someone speaks from the deepest part of their soul, and your soulmate spoke from a place of love, longing, and destiny all at once. They didn't tell anyone. They didn't announce it anywhere, but the decision has already been made in their heart. Your location is calling them. Your presence is healing them. Your connection is guiding them, and their soul is walking toward you, one quiet step at a time. You may start to notice sudden shifts of your own, dear one, a tightening in your chest, a heartbeat that feels faster than usual, strange emotions that arrive without explanation, restlessness that seems to come from nowhere. These are not random. These are signs that your soulmate's heart is already walking toward you spiritually, before their feet ever take a single step. Because before the body moves, the soul moves first, and their soul is already standing at your door. Dear soul, before we continue, I'd like to invite you to take a meaningful moment for your soulmate journey. Sometimes the most beautiful surprises arrive when we least expect them, and divine timing brings two hearts together in ways we could never imagine. The place, the moment, and the circumstances surrounding a soulmate connection can hold a special meaning. Yet every beautiful journey of love deserves to be surrounded with faith, hope, and positive intention. If your heart is calling you to support your soulmate journey with an extra layer of love, prayer, and divine protection, you can sow your seed through Ko-Fi Super Thanks. You'll find the Ko-Fi link in the video description and the pinned comment. This simple act can become a heartfelt expression of your intention, inviting God's blessings and angelic guidance to surround your soulmate connection. Prepare both hearts and guide this beautiful journey toward the right time and the right place. If you feel led to do so, thank you from the bottom of my heart. May your kindness return to you multiplied, and may your soulmate journey be filled with peace, love, hope, and divine guidance. Let's continue with angel message. You may also notice small, quiet things starting to line up in your own life. A number that keeps repeating in front of you. A stranger who says something that feels oddly specific to what you've been carrying inside. A sudden urge to clean your space or tidy your home, almost as if some part of you is preparing for someone to walk through the door. Trust these nudges, dear one. The universe rarely announces itself loudly. It prefers to whisper, to leave little clues along your path, trusting that your heart will recognize the pattern even when your mind cannot explain it. You don't need to chase this. You don't need to force anything or try to speed up what is already in motion. Your only task right now is to stay open, to keep your heart soft instead of guarded, and to trust that what has been set into motion cannot be undone by a little more time. Some of the most beautiful reunions in life happen exactly when a person finally stops bracing for disappointment and simply allows themselves to hope again. Understand this, dear one. Your soulmate is preparing themselves for the biggest move of their life. They are gathering courage, breaking down old walls, and letting go of fears that have kept them stuck for far too long. Their breakdown didn't break them. It broke open the door to you. They realized that home was never really a building or a routine or comfort on its own. Home is you, your energy, your presence, your voice, your love. And that is exactly why they are coming. Destiny has already chosen the path. Your soulmate is ready to walk it. And the moment they arrive where you are, everything changes. This next part carries the truth your heart has been waiting for. The piece that ties everything together. That explains why things have been moving so quickly. Why signs keep appearing. Why your soulmate's emotions have felt so full. And why your location has quietly become the center of everything. The surprise heading your way is not something small, dear one. It isn't a quiet message or a simple gesture. It is bigger, deeper, and far more emotional than anything you've imagined so far. Your soulmate is preparing to take a step that will change both your lives. This isn't only about love. It's about destiny realigning itself, about two souls returning to the path they were always meant to walk together, about something the universe set into motion long before either of you were born. They are preparing to surprise you in a way that will leave your hands shaking and your heart racing. Everything they've been feeling, hiding, and quietly planning is now reaching its final stretch. They've made their decision. They have chosen you. They have chosen your world. They have chosen to close the distance, end the silence, and take a risk driven by love, longing, and a spiritual pull too strong to keep ignoring. And the universe is standing behind that decision, because when two souls are truly meant for each other, nothing, not time, not distance, not confusion, can keep them apart forever. Here's what may really be happening behind the scenes. Your soulmate may have already looked at routes, checked your address, thought through timing, or quietly packed something small. They may have even told someone close, "I need to go see them." Your location is pulling them like gravity. Their heart feels calm just imagining being near you. Their chest feels light picturing your street. Their eyes feel warm imagining seeing you again, out of nowhere. They have already pictured the moment they arrive. The road, the sky above your city, the space between where they stand and where you are. The instant your eyes meet, the silence that says everything words never could. The first words they'll finally speak. This moment is no longer just imagination. Dear one, it is becoming real. Something they discovered recently pushed them harder. Something that made them realize waiting any longer could mean regret for the rest of their life. Maybe someone said something. Maybe they saw a sign. Maybe destiny simply placed the truth right in front of them. Whatever it was, it struck their heart like lightning, and they knew they could no longer watch from a distance. They need to show up. They need to speak the truth they've been carrying quietly for so long. They've rehearsed this moment countless times in their mind, practicing what they'll say, softening their fears, making peace with the tears that might come. This time they've decided they won't hold anything back, because this time they are fighting for you. They want to see your real, honest reaction, which is part of why they haven't warned you. They don't want to text or call ahead. They want to see the truth in your eyes, see if your soul recognizes them the way theirs recognizes you, see if your heart still beats a little faster for them too. Written words can be misread. Voices over a call can hide real feeling, but eyes tell the whole truth. This is why a surprise, not a conversation, feels right to them. Something in their life is quietly ending so something with you can finally begin. This is a powerful moment for them spiritually, the completion of a long, tiring cycle of running, hiding, and pretending. They are simply tired. Their heart cannot carry this weight any longer. That emotional breakdown broke through the last wall inside them, and it left them with total clarity. I will regret this forever if I don't go now. I need them. I love them. This is where I'm meant to be. That single realization moved them from uncertain to determined, from afraid to brave, from distant to finally ready to come close. This surprise is coming faster than you think. Dear one, this isn't months away. It's close, very close. Their energy is already in motion. Their mind is already planning. Emotionally, they've already begun the journey toward you, even before their physical body follows. Soon you may start to feel it too, a shift, a pull, a sudden wave of emotion, a restless night, a dream that feels unusually vivid, or the quiet sense that someone is calling your name. These are not just your imagination. They are signals that destiny is approaching your door. And when this moment finally arrives, it will be unforgettable. You may freeze. You may tremble. Your heart may race. Your eyes may fill with tears you didn't expect. Because when a soulmate finally stands in front of you, the whole world seems to go quiet. Time slows, breath feels sacred, and two souls recognize one another without needing a single word. In that instant, your soulmate will feel only one thing: I'm home, and you will feel it too. This moment will gently heal so much, dear one. The pain, the confusion, the waiting, the fear, the silence, all of it softens the second they stand in front of you. Destiny has chosen this moment, and destiny doesn't choose wrong. Your soulmate is coming. Your presence has been calling them. Your energy has been guiding them. Your love has been pulling them home. And soon, dear one, your waiting will finally come to an end. I know waiting is one of the hardest things a heart can be asked to do. It stretches your patience. It tests your faith. And some days it may even make you wonder if any of this is real. But dear one, everything worth having in this life asks for a little patience first. The seasons don't rush the flowers. The tide doesn't hurry back to shore. And true love, the kind that survives distance, silence, and time, never arrives a moment before it's meant to. So while you wait, take gentle care of your own heart. Keep living your days fully. Keep laughing. Keep resting. Keep doing the small things that bring you peace. Not because you need to distract yourself from the wait, but because a full, peaceful heart is exactly the kind of heart that's ready to receive something beautiful when it finally arrives. Your soulmate isn't just coming toward your location. They are coming toward the version of you who has grown, who has healed a little more, who is finally ready to be met halfway. Hold on to this feeling, dear one. Let it sit gently in your chest today. You are not imagining this connection. You are not making it up out of loneliness or hope. What you feel is real, and it has been real for longer than you've allowed yourself to admit. Trust it a little longer. The distance is closing. The silence is ending. And your soulmate's heart, even now, is quietly, steadily, making its way home to you. Dear beautiful soul, this angel's message for you channel is a sacred spiritual home, created for faith, healing, and divine guidance. A place where hearts awaken and lives are gently transformed through divine messages. We warmly invite you to subscribe and stay connected, because the divine is always preparing something greater for your journey, something you are meant to receive in divine timing. If you feel moved to support this mission, you can sow your seed here for your soulmate blessings and divine love fulfillment. Your contribution is not just support. It is an energetic agreement with love, healing, and divine alignment in your own life. When you give with intention, it opens doors. Love flows more freely, happiness expands, and abundance multiplies in unexpected ways. Many believe that giving in faith activates a return of peace, joy, and emotional fulfillment in relationships and life. Whether it is $11, $22, $33, or $55, your generosity helps us continue spreading these divine messages of hope, healing, and soulmate guidance across the world. Every seed sown into this mission helps hearts heal, faith return, and souls reconnect with love. This is more than a channel. It is a movement of light, unity, and divine timing. Your support allows this sacred work to grow, touching lives that are searching for answers, comfort, and spiritual direction. We are all connected in this journey, and together we rise as one community under divine love. Let us open our hearts to the abundance that is already on its way. Amen.